Hi guys, welcome back to TOEFL with Juva. I scored 30 in TOEFL Writing and today I want to show you how I did that. I'm going to tell you my 8 top tips that helped me score 30 in TOEFL Writing. By the way, if you want to have more tips about the TOEFL and if you want to download templates, subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss the next video. Let's get started. Let's start with tip number 1. Use templates. I use templates in all my TOEFL essays and I think templates are amazing. They are real lifesavers. If you need a writing template, have a look at my videos where I talk about the templates I created for TOEFL Writing and that helped me score 30 in TOEFL Writing. You can find the links in the description below. Why are templates so amazing? Templates are great especially for 2 reasons. First, if you memorize a template, you already know how to start your sentences when you're taking the exam. And second, a template tells you how your essay should be structured. The problem in TOEFL Writing is that you only have a very limited amount of time in order to write your essay. And when we don't have much time, we tend to get nervous and then we tend to forget things. Memorizing a template helps you in this situation because you will know how to start your sentences and how to structure your essay. It will be in your head and you won't need to think about that in the essay. And that's why I think templates are so great, because a template is like a life belt that helps you throughout your TOEFL essay. Tip number 2, use linking words. Guys, linking words are fantastic and you should definitely use them. I used a lot of linking words in my TOEFL essays. In fact, I used a ton of them. Linking words are great because they essentially do 2 things. First, if you use a lot of different linking words, you show that you have a broad range of vocabulary and that you know how to use these words correctly and effectively in order to get your message across. And second, linking words also help you structure your essay because, for example, if you use words such as first, second, third, this indicates to the reader where he is in your essay. Is it the first point you're talking about? Is it the second point? The reader will know what you are talking about in that moment. And this means that linking words also make your essay clearer and they make it easier for the reader to understand what you're talking about. Let's go on with tip number 3, paraphrase. Guys, if you want to boost your score in TOEFL Writing, you must paraphrase information. It's really important that you don't repeat the same words over and over again and that you don't copy text that is given to you in the prompt or in the article you read in the writing task 1. This is really important because in TOEFL Writing you get points for 2 things. You get points for the vocabulary you use and you also get points if you show that you can express the same information in different ways. So this is what you must show ETS. You must demonstrate that you have a broad range of vocabulary, that you know many words and that you can use them correctly to express similar things in different ways. If you want to know how you can paraphrase information, have a look at my video where I talk about how to write an introduction for the independent essay. In this video, I show you exactly how you can paraphrase information. You can find the link to the video in the description below. Tip number 4. Use if clauses. Guys, if clauses are amazing because if clauses really boost your TOEFL writing score. I used 3 if clauses in the writing task 2 in the body paragraph. Why are if clauses so great? If clauses show that you are able to write more complex sentences. Because if clauses are not easy to write, the grammar is hard. And if you show that you can write an if clause correctly, this is amazing and your score will go up. So you should definitely use them. But where should you use if clauses? You should use if clauses especially in task 2 in TOEFL writing. They belong in your body paragraph. Make sure that you use at least 2 if clauses in task 2 in the body paragraph. So for example, you will provide a reason and an example there, and another reason and another example to support your argument. And I'd recommend using 1 if clause per reason. So 1 when you talk about your first reason and 1 when you talk about your second reason. But attention! If you use if clauses in TOEFL writing, you must use them correctly. Therefore, you should study the grammar before, so that when you are sitting the exam and you want to write an if clause, your brain already knows how to do that. So keep that in mind, study them before, and then use them in your TOEFL essays. Let's go on with tip number 5. Use different tenses. Guys, in TOEFL writing, it's really important that you do not only use the present. You should use other tenses as well. You should mix them up in your essay. Why should you do that? In TOEFL writing, you get points for how you write in English. And this also means that you get points if you show that you know English grammar. And tenses are English grammar. If you show that you know different tenses and that you can apply them correctly in your TOEFL essay, this will get you points. That's why you should definitely use different tenses in your TOEFL essays. How can you do that? For example, especially in task 2, it's really easy to sneak a few different tenses in there. For example, you will usually talk about your reasons and your examples to support your argument. So what you will do is you will in some way talk about a current situation that concerns the topic you're talking about in some way. And when you're talking about a current situation, you use the present. You will also give examples to support your argument. And when you give examples, you will talk about your personal experience. And your experience took place in the past. So when you're talking about your experience, definitely use the past, because this shows that you are able to write in the past. And you can also write about potential future developments. And in this case, of course, you use the future. So if you do it like that, you make sure that you have every tense covered and that you will get a high score in TOEFL writing. Tip number 6. Use paragraphs. Guys, if you want to have a high score in TOEFL writing, you should definitely use paragraphs. Why should you do that? Paragraphs help you structure your essay. And it's really, really important that your essay is well structured, because this is what will get you points. Paragraphs also help the reader to understand your way of thinking. For example, imagine that you use a paragraph for an introduction, another for a reason you provide, and another for a conclusion. This makes it a lot easier for the reader to realize, okay, here you are introducing the topic, here you're talking about a reason, and here you're giving a conclusion. So it's a lot easier for the reader to understand where he is in your essay when he's reading it. So how should you use paragraphs in your 2 essays in TOEFL Writing? In Task 1 in TOEFL Writing, use 1 paragraph for the introduction and then use 1 paragraph for each argument that you introduce. In Task 1, you will talk about the arguments of a writer and a speaker. So in each paragraph, consider the 1 argument that they both make. In Task 1, use 1 paragraph for the introduction, 1 paragraph for each reason you provide, including the example, and 1 paragraph for the conclusion. Let's go on with tip number 7. Answer the question. Guys, this seems really obvious, right? Of course, you have to answer the question that is given in TOEFL Writing. What else should you do? It seems really obvious, but sometimes it can happen that you write an essay that doesn't answer the question that you should answer. For example, if we have difficulties dealing with a question, we tend to turn this question around until we finally get the question we would like to answer because we know the answer. So what happens is we write an essay answering a different question than the one that is given. And you must absolutely avoid that because this will really hurt your score. You won't get points if you don't answer the question. So how can you make sure that you answer the question correctly? To ensure that you provide an answer to the question asked, make a check after each paragraph you write. So, for example, if you write the introduction in Task 2, after you've written the introduction, make a check. Does this introduction refer to the question? When you go on and provide your first reason and example, after you have written this paragraph, go back to the question and ask yourself, does this paragraph provide an answer to this question? If it does, that's perfect. You can go on and write the next paragraph. If it does not, stop at this point and edit your paragraph that you just wrote so that it fits to the question asked. Let's go on with tip number 8. Write more than the word count. Guys, in my TOEFL essays, I always went over the word count. And I will tell you why. The word count that is given in TOEFL Writing is only a minimum requirement. This means that you should write at least as many words as is stated in the word counts. So by all means, don't write less because this would really hurt your score. If you want to have a really high score in TOEFL Writing, you should go at least a bit over the word count. Why should you do that? First, this shows the examiner that you are able to write longer texts. And second, this also shows that you are able to write such a long text in such a short amount of time. Of course, you should not go over the word count considerably. This will also not be possible because you don't have so much time. But just go a bit over the word count to demonstrate that you're able to do that. That's it. These are my 8 top tips that helped me score 30 in TOEFL Writing. Guys, if you like, download the summary. You can find the link in the description below. If you have any questions or a video wish, tell me about that in the comments below. I'd love to hear about that. And if you found this video helpful and if you want to download templates and know more about the TOEFL, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to see you here next time. Bye bye.